I woke up to silence. Not the peaceful kind, the kind that roars. For 12 years, my mornings had begun with Adam's soft snoring beside me, his arm draped heavy and warm across my waist. That sound was my anchor, proof that I wasn't alone. But that morning, the bed was cold. The air was still. The world had stopped breathing. Adam. My voice cracked the quiet. No answer. I reached out, his shoulder was ice. There are moments that split a life in two, the before, when the world still made sense, and the after, when nothing ever will again. That was mine. By the time the ambulance came, the house was full of strangers and sirens, all moving too fast, asking questions I couldn't hear. They said aneurysm. They said instant. They said no pain. But all I could think was I didn't say goodbye. The funeral came like a storm I couldn't stop. Flowers. Condolences. People with soft eyes and heavy voices telling me how strong I was. I smiled when they spoke, because grief hadn't found words yet, only silence, pressing like a weight against my ribs. That's when Cassandra showed up. My little sister, polished, perfect, perfume too strong for a church. We hadn't been close in years, not since she started resenting everything I had, the house, the marriage, the life she thought should have been hers. But that week, she was everywhere. She took my phone, answered calls, smiled for the mourners, moved through my home like she belonged there. You need rest, she'd whisper, guiding me to the couch. Let me handle things. And in my dazed, grieving fog, I let her. Because when you've lost the person who made your world make sense, you'll grab any hand that pretends to steady you. 3 days after the funeral, I woke to find her sitting at Adam's desk, rifling through drawers. Cassandra. My voice was thin. What are you doing? She looked up, smiled too quick. Just organizing. You shouldn't deal with paperwork right now. Her hand brushed past a stack of bills, lingered on a leather folder marked estate documents. Her eyes flicked toward me, sharp, calculating, then softened again. I was thinking, she said carefully, this house. It must feel so big now. So lonely. Maybe it's time to think about starting over. Starting over. As if grief was a season I could step out of. As if love could be boxed up and sold like furniture. I told her no. Firmly. The house wasn't just bricks and walls, it was ours. Every inch of it carried a memory. The kitchen where Adam taught me to cook his grandmother's lasagna, the hallway where we danced barefoot at midnight, the yellow room that never became a nursery. But Cassandra didn't back down. She smiled, eyes glinting. Of course. You're right. I just want what's best for you. That night, I couldn't sleep. I sat in Adam's office, surrounded by the echo of his life, the scent of his cologne still clinging to his jacket on the chair, his handwriting still fresh on a stack of notes. I opened the safe he'd told me never to forget, and inside, tucked between insurance papers and property deeds, was a sealed envelope with my name. In case something happens. My hands trembled as I held it. I couldn't open it yet, not while the ache was still raw. But a strange calm settled over me. Adam had been meticulous, always one step ahead. Whatever this was, it was his way of saying, I've got you, even now. Outside, the wind brushed against the windows. The house groaned, alive with memory. And somewhere deep in my chest, a quiet voice, the part of me that still trusted intuition, whispered a warning. Cassandra's sudden kindness wasn't love. It was strategy. And I was standing in the middle of a game I didn't yet understand. Grief has a strange way of slowing time. Days stretched into endless gray hours, each one heavier than the last. I moved through the house like a ghost, touching things that still smelled like Adam, his jacket on the chair, his coffee mug in the sink, his favorite book folded open on the nightstand. And always, Cassandra was there. She arrived every morning with coffee and that practiced smile, the one she used to charm clients. She'd sweep through the house, tidying, rearranging, opening drawers she had no reason to open. You shouldn't worry about bills, she said one morning, flipping through envelopes. Adam handled all this, right? Maybe I could help you sort through it. Her voice was sugar, but her eyes were searching, measuring. I tried to be gracious. She'd lost him too, after all. Or so I told myself. But every time she touched Adam's things, something inside me tightened. By the third day, she'd begun asking questions that didn't sound like comfort anymore. Did Adam ever talk about a will? What did the house appraise for last year? Do you know if there's a life insurance payout? Her tone was casual, but the pattern was clear. Every question had a dollar sign behind it. That evening, after she left, I sat in Adam's office and opened the envelope he'd left me. Inside was a single line, handwritten in his neat, deliberate script. If anyone asks about the house, the will, or your finances, don't answer. Call Harold. No explanation. No greeting. Just a warning. It hit me then. Adam had known. Somehow, he'd seen this coming. The next morning, my mother called. Her voice was soft, hesitant. Sweetheart, Cassandra says you're struggling with the upkeep. Maybe it would help to sell the house? Or share it? The words made my blood run cold. Share it. The seed Cassandra had planted was already sprouting. Mom, I said slowly, Adam's been gone a week. I'm not selling our home. There was silence on the other end. Then, quietly, Cassandra told me Adam helped her with Lucas. That he was close to the baby. Is that true? I stared at the wall. Adam, holding another woman's child? No. He barely saw Lucas. And yet, Cassandra's timing, her persistence, it all began to feel deliberate, rehearsed. When I hung up, the quiet of the house felt different, less like grief, more like danger. That night, I dreamed of Adam standing in the doorway, his voice calm but urgent. Trust your instincts, Bridge. And trust the proof. When I woke, my phone buzzed. A message from Cassandra. Mom's worried about you. Maybe bring Adam's will to Lucas's birthday on Saturday. It'll give you peace of mind. A child's birthday. A will. The combination made my stomach twist. Something was coming. And whatever it was, Adam had prepared me for it. Saturday arrived with skies the color of old bruises, heavy, low, and waiting to break. I stood in front of the mirror, fastening the small locket Adam gave me on our 5th anniversary. Inside, a photo of us laughing before loss, before betrayal, before all of this. Cassandra's message from 2 nights ago echoed in my head. Bring Adam's will to the party. You'll need it. I almost didn't go. Something in my gut screamed that this wasn't a birthday celebration. It was a stage. But staying home felt worse. Whatever she was planning, I needed to see it with my own eyes. When I arrived, Cassandra's house was alive with color, balloons, streamers, laughter too loud to be real. She swept toward me in a red dress that didn't belong at a child's party. Bridget, she exclaimed, voice high, rehearsed. I'm so glad you came. Everyone's been dying to meet you. Her words cut sharper than she knew. Dying. I forced a smile. Happy birthday to Lucas. People turned, eyes flickering with curiosity, whispers following my steps. I felt like an exhibit in a gallery titled The Widow. Cassandra poured wine into my hand before I could protest. You'll want this, she murmured. Then, the clinking of a spoon against glass. Everyone, Cassandra announced, voice steady. Before we cut the cake, there's something I need to share. Something about my son, and about Adam. The room quieted. My heart thudded. She stepped into the center like an actress hitting her mark. My son Lucas deserves the truth. His father was Adam Morrison, Bridget's husband. The air fractured. Gasps. Murmurs. Eyes on me. I stood frozen, 1,000 thoughts colliding, anger, disbelief, a strange kind of grief all over again. Cassandra reached into her bag, pulling out a manila envelope. Adam wrote a will, she continued, voice trembling with feigned sincerity, leaving half the house to his son. Lucas deserves his inheritance. She laid the papers on the table, her gaze triumphant. This is his signature. His wish. For a moment, the room tilted. My breath caught. I could almost hear Adam's voice in my mind, calm, unflinching. If anyone asks about the house, don't answer. Call Harold. I looked at the document but didn't touch it. Instead, I lifted my chin. You're lying. Cassandra's eyes flashed. You're just in denial. Adam and I stop. My voice cut clean through the noise. Adam had a vasectomy 2 years ago. Medical proof. 0 chance of children. The room erupted again. Shock, whispers, disbelief. Cassandra faltered, color draining from her face. In that instant, I understood this wasn't grief twisting her. It was greed, calculation, desperation dressed as drama. And though my heart ached, something inside me hardened. This wasn't just about protecting a house. It was about defending the truth of the man I loved and the life we built together. The storm had begun, and I was done being silent. The room fell into stunned silence. For a heartbeat, no one moved, 20 pairs of eyes flicking between Cassandra's trembling hand and the forged papers on the table. Then the whispers began. Adam, her husband. Could it be true? Cassandra straightened, her mask cracking, but not yet falling. Vasectomies can fail, she said, voice tight. Adam told me he wanted to provide for Lucas. He loved him. Stop lying, I said quietly. Every muscle in my body was trembling, but my voice came out steady. Grief had softened me once. Not anymore. I took a step closer. Adam wasn't perfect, but he was honest. He would never cheat. And he would never leave a child hidden in the shadows. Cassandra's lips twitched. You don't know everything about your husband. Maybe not, I said, but I know truth leaves footprints. And your story doesn't leave a single one. Her jaw tightened. She thrust the papers at me. Then read it. It's notarized. Legal. He signed it 3 months ago. I scanned the date. March 15th. My breath hitched. That was the day Adam and I boarded a plane to Hawaii. At 2 p.m., the time stamped beside the signature, he was somewhere over the Pacific Ocean. I looked up, meeting her gaze. He couldn't have signed this. We were on a flight that day. She faltered, but recovered quickly. Maybe he signed earlier, no. Notarization requires a witness at the moment of signing. The room was shifting. Guests exchanged looks. Even my mother, who'd stood quietly in the corner, was pale with confusion. Cassandra, she whispered, is this true? Cassandra's voice wavered. He promised to take care of us. He said Lucas was his then. Where are the photos? I demanded. Messages? Anything real? She fumbled with her phone, scrolling desperately. Here, texts, she cried, thrusting the screen forward. Generic words. No names. No proof. Anyone could have sent those, I said softly. Anyone. My hands were shaking now, not from fear, but from anger. The kind that comes when someone tries to rewrite the story of your life. I turned to the crowd. Adam and I tried for years to have children. 3 miscarriages. Do you understand what you're doing, Cassandra? You're using my pain as your weapon. Her face twisted, eyes glassy. You had everything, she spat. The house, the love, the life. I had nothing. I swallowed hard. You had a sister. Once. For a moment, the room was unbearably quiet, grief and betrayal hanging heavy in the air. Then my phone buzzed. Harold Mitchell, incoming call. Adam's lawyer. His friend. His final safeguard. I answered on speaker. Bridget, Harold's calm voice filled the silence. Don't be afraid. Adam prepared for this. He left instructions. Every head turned. Cassandra's eyes widened. This is over, I whispered. Adam saw you coming. And in that moment, the power shifted. The truth was no longer fragile. It was armed. Harold's voice cut through the tension like a blade. Bridget, Adam left documentation, medical, legal, time-stamped. He anticipated someone might challenge his estate. I'm on my way. A hush fell over the room. All eyes turned toward Cassandra. Her face blanched, lips trembling as the mask began to crumble. Documentation, someone whispered. What's happening? Another asked. I stepped forward, heart pounding, but my voice was calm, anchored in something stronger than grief now. You tried to rewrite his life, Cassandra. But Adam kept the truth. Cassandra's hand darted toward the forged will on the table, but I caught it before she could snatch it away. This paper, I said, lifting it high, is a lie. The notary doesn't exist. The law firm isn't real. The signature? A forgery. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. A few guests backed away from her. Then the door opened. Harold Mitchell entered, silver-haired, steady, carrying a briefcase and the weight of truth. He surveyed the room with quiet authority. MS. Morrison, he said to Cassandra, I need you to understand that forging a will is a felony. And presenting it publicly, with intent to defraud, only worsens your case. Cassandra's eyes darted between Harold, me, and the stunned faces surrounding her. I just wanted help, she stammered. Lucas, he needs. Harold opened the briefcase, laying out documents one by one. Adam's certified vasectomy records, he announced. Performed 2 years ago, followed by 3 independent tests confirming 0 fertility. Gasps echoed through the room. Additionally, Harold continued, Adam updated his will 6 months ago. It explicitly states he has no children, biological or adopted. All assets are left to Bridget Morrison. Cassandra took a step back, shaking her head. You're lying. Harold met her gaze evenly. There's also a sealed letter Adam wrote. I've read it. He warned about this exact scenario. Tears burned my eyes as I whispered, he knew you'd try this. Cassandra's voice broke. I was drowning, Bridget. Rent, daycare, bills. I thought if I said he was Lucas's father, you thought grief would make me weak. My voice cracked, but I didn't look away. You used your son. You used Adam's death. Her shoulders slumped. The fight drained from her face, leaving only shame. Harold spoke gently, but firmly. You need to write a confession, Cassandra. Now. In front of witnesses. For a moment, she didn't move. Then, trembling, she nodded. I'll do it. The pen scratched across the page, each word a surrender. As she signed her name, a quiet stillness filled the room, the kind that follows a storm. I looked at her not with hatred, but with something heavier, mourning for the sister I'd lost long before this day. Adam had been right. Truth leaves footprints. And now every lie had been traced back to its maker. By the time Harold left that evening, the house had emptied of guests, laughter, and illusion. Only silence remained, the honest kind this time, the kind that holds truth instead of secrets. Cassandra's confession sat on the table, ink still damp, a fragile monument to everything she'd broken. She didn't look back when she left, clutching Lucas to her chest, shoulders bowed beneath the weight of her choices. For a long while, I stayed where I was, staring at the space she'd occupied, the echo of her lies still vibrating in the air. Adam had been gone for weeks, but for the first time, I felt him close, not in memory, but in presence. He had seen the storm coming, and even from beyond, he'd built me a shelter. In grief, I'd thought love died with the body. But love, I realized, is more cunning than death. It leaves maps. It leaves proof. It leaves you prepared to stand when everything else collapses. The next morning, I called Harold. No police, I said softly. She's lost enough. He hesitated. Bridget, Adam's letter, I've read it. He wanted me safe, not vengeful. Justice didn't need bars. It needed boundaries. Cassandra would live with what she'd done, stripped of her license, her reputation, and the sisterhood she'd tried to exploit. That was punishment enough. But Lucas, he was innocent. Weeks later, I set up a trust in his name, a seed for the future, untouched by his mother's hands. Adam would have wanted that. Mercy for the blameless. Seasons turned. Grief softened into something quieter, not gone, but gentle. I sold the house one autumn morning when the light fell across the kitchen just right, reminding me too much of him. I walked through every room one last time, whispering thanks into the walls. This was love, I told them. And love built it well. The new place was smaller, sunlit, full of quiet corners where I could breathe again. I planted rosemary by the window, Adam's favorite scent, and hung his photograph above the desk where I'd rebuild my life. Sometimes, late at night, I play the video Harold delivered months later, Adam's voice warm, eyes steady. If you're watching this, Bridge, it means you survived the storm. I'm proud of you. Don't let her take any more space in your heart. Fill it with something new. I smile through tears every time. Because I have. I cook meals for one and light candles for two. I sleep in peace, knowing truth kept its promise. And when I step outside beneath a sky washed clean by rain, I feel him there, not haunting, but holding. Love didn't end. It evolved. It built a woman who knows her worth, who guards her peace, and forgives without forgetting. Because the real inheritance Adam left me wasn't a house, it was clarity.